Many thanks for joining today's edition of Aso Briefing. I am Richard Alechinwanyebe. Our top stories. President Tinubu orders clear sharing of power subsidy costs. FCT Minister Barrister Nyesom Wike Labour reached truce on FCTA workers' strike. And in business, CBN releases fintech reports, highlight roadmap for nation's digital finance growth. You're watching Aso Briefing. Don't forget that you can watch us live on DSTV channel 392, StarTimes TV channel 127, and on Free TV, look us up on channel 507. On the UHF band, you can find us on channel 38. Now we go over the details of all our stories. President Bola Tinubu has directed all ministries, departments, and agencies, MDAs, to use existing electricity sector laws to make the sharing of power subsidy costs among the federal, states, and local governments clear, practical, and open in the 2026 budget process. This was disclosed by the Director General of the Budget Office of the Federation, Dr. Tanimu Yakubu, during a keynote address at the start of a training program for MDAs on the 2026 post-budget preparation using the Government Integrated Financial Management Information System and the Budget Preparation System on Monday in Abuja. Yakubu said the president wants the burden of electricity subsidies to be clearly shared so that no level of government is left carrying hidden or unpaid costs. He explained that when any level of government decides to keep electricity prices low for citizens, the financial responsibility for that decision must be clearly agreed upon and enforced. According to him, fair sharing of the burden will encourage better performance in the power sector and stronger support for protecting vulnerable consumers. Yakubu told MDAs that they must now clearly show all subsidy-related costs in their budget plans and avoid pushing unpaid obligations into the power market as debts that later create problems for electricity companies and consumers. The federal government of Nigeria on Monday flagged off a free nationwide training of 10 million Nigerians on financial inclusion and literacy. This is just as the Vice President, Senator Kashim Shettima, said Nigeria can reap bountifully from its demographic dividend only if young Nigerians and women are equipped with the needed skills and ethical grounding required for a speedily progressing digital economy. The forum being undertaken by the Office of the Vice President through the Presidential Committee on Economic and Financial Inclusion, chaired by Vice President Kashim Shettima, is designed to equip Nigerians, particularly women and youth, with essential financial skills, investment knowledge, and digital competencies for sustainable wealth creation. Accordingly, the Office of the Vice President, through the Pre-SEFI, signed a Memorandum of Understanding MOU with 6 professional bodies to jointly design training programs, certification pathways, digital skills initiatives, and mentorship platforms that will strengthen Nigeria's financial and enterprise workforce. The professional bodies include the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ICANN, Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria, CIBN, Chartered Institute of Stockbrokers, CIS, National Institute of Credit Administration, NICA, Chartered Risk Management Institute, CRMI, and Nigeria's Institute of Innovation and Entrepreneurship. Speaking when he officially flagged off the free nationwide training of 10 million Nigerians on behalf of President Bola Tinubu at the Presidential Villa Abuja, the Vice President noted that the signing of the MOU between the federal government and the six of Nigeria's foremost professional bodies was more than a formal agreement. The leadership of the organized labor and the Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Barrister Aso Briefing, have reached a consensus over the ongoing dispute that has affected activities in the nation's capital in recent days. Specifically, the two parties sheathed their swords after a marathon meeting convened by the chairman of the Senate Committee on the FCT, Mohammed Bomei, which lasted for more than 3 hours. The meeting, which started a few minutes before 12 a.m., ended at about 3:50 a.m. on Tuesday. In attendance were the FCT Minister, Barrister Nyesom Wike, the presidents of the Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, and Trade Union Congress, TUC, Joe Ajero and Festus Osifo, respectively. The scribes of both labour centres, as well as other key stakeholders, were also present. Recall that organized labour, comprising the 2 labour centres, had on Monday insisted that there would be no going back on the planned massive protest to press home the demands of the FCTA workers. Briefing journalists after the meeting, the acting General Secretary of the NLC, Benson Upa, explained that it was agreed that arising from the strike action, no worker shall be victimized in any manner. Upa, who was flanked by the General Secretary of the TUC, Nuhu Toro, and other labor leaders, also disclosed that all outstanding cases at the National Industrial Court would be withdrawn immediately. He said at the conclusion of the meeting, the following resolutions were reached. All complaints presented by JUAC members were taken one after the other and fully addressed. He, however, announced that all workers in the FCT had been directed to resume duties immediately. Senator Philip Tanimwa Duda has described faith-based organizations as critical partners in promoting peace, moral uprightness, and social cohesion in Nigeria. The minority leader of the 9th Senate made the remark while attending the Ekwa Gariki Women Annual Conference in Abuja. The conference brought together women from Ekwa assemblies within and outside the Federal Capital Territory for prayers and fellowship and discussions on leadership, family stability, moral values, and social responsibility. Addressing the gathering, Senator Aduda commended the Ekwa Gariki Women Fellowship for their sustained commitments to spiritual growth, peace building, and humanitarian service, noting that women's consistency in faith-based activities continues to positively shape families and communities. He stressed that women play an indispensable role in nation building, adding that sustainable development cannot be achieved without deliberate efforts to empower women and support their aspirations across all sectors. The leadership of Ekwa Gariki Church and the Women Fellowship expressed appreciation to the Senator for his presence and continued support as the event ended with prayers for peace and progress in the FCT and the country at large. The Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, FAN, has partnered with Zoid Energies Limited to introduce electric taxi services at airports across the country. The pilot phase will begin in Abuja and Lagos with 20 electric taxis already deployed at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in Abuja. The Chief Executive Officer of Zoid Energies, Ugochukwu Abiakam, said the initiative is aimed at modernizing airport ground transportation and supporting Nigeria's energy transition. He explained that Abuja and Lagos will serve as test locations ahead of nationwide expansion, adding that the project will be rolled out in phases based on demand and infrastructure readiness. Abiakam noted that the service will be affordable, fully compliant with airport regulations, and inclusive of existing airport taxi operators, while also featuring cashless payments, digital bookings, and dedicated EV charging stations. Abiakam described electric vehicles as a strategic opportunity for Nigeria, citing reduced reliance on imported fuel and lower transport operating costs as key benefits. The Joint Admissions and Matriculations Board (JAMB) has promised to give free application documents to persons with disabilities registering for this year's Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination (UTME). The board announced these in a bulletin shared by its public communication advisor, Dr. Fabian Benjamin, yesterday in Abuja. Registration for the examination started on January 26th and will end on February 28th. So far, the board said it has raked in 2,206,319,000 naira from the sales of post-UTME pins. JAMB recorded, as it did in previous years, the free application documents are to be processed by its Equal Opportunity Group for candidates with disabilities who wish to sit the 2026-2027 UTME. The board explained that the free UTME documents were part of efforts aimed at giving equal opportunities to all categories of candidates with disabilities who are desirous of pursuing their dreams of higher education. Its registrar, Professor Ishak Oloyede, announced this at a meeting with critical stakeholders of the board at its national headquarters in Abuja. He listed those who will enjoy the free application documents, including but not limited to people with Down syndrome, autism, dyslexia, and attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. The registrar added that audiobooks would be provided for all visually impaired candidates. He explained that the audiobook is a digital adaptation of traditional printed reading book. Oloyede said it will come in popular audio formats such as MP3, WMV, and WAMA, which will be compatible with all devices that can be streamed audio records. The Commissioner of Police in the FCT, CP Mila Dantawaye, has conducted a tour of security deployment within and around the University of Abuja. The tour, carried out on January 29, 2026, was aimed at assessing existing security arrangements and ensuring adequate preparedness to deter criminal activities within the university environment. According to a statement issued by the command spokesperson, SP Josephine Adia, on Sunday, during the operational tour, the Commissioner of Police inspected personnel deployed at strategic locations, including the campus perimeters and surrounding hills. SP Adia said he commended the officers for their commitment and resilience in safeguarding the institution and charged them to remain vigilant, proactive, and professional in the discharge of their duties. The police spokesperson further said as part of the operational tour, CP Mila paid a courtesy call on the Vice Chancellor of the University of Abuja, Professor Hakim Fawemehi, where both engaged in extensive discussions on the prevailing security situation of the institution. She added that they explored modalities for strengthening the already existing security architecture to further enhance the safety of students, staff, and property within the university community. The CP reaffirmed his commitments to ensuring that the university is provided with adequate deployment of personnel and equipment to prevent and promptly respond to any security incidents. The Director General of the National Youth Service Corps, NYSC, Brigadier General Olakule Matthew, has charged corps members to uphold the core values of the scheme. He gave the charge on separate occasions while addressing the 2026 Batch A Stream 1 corps members who are currently undergoing orientation course at the NYSC Permanent Orientation Camp, Ede, Osun State, and the Kwara State Polytechnic, Ilorin. The DG averred that the virtues of selfless service, patriotism, integrity, efficiency, commitment, and teamwork had been the pillars that kept the scheme waxing stronger since its establishment in 1973, adding that the present and future corps members must continue to imbibe them in order to sustain the legacies of its founding fathers. He reminded them that the essence of establishing the NYSC was to foster national unity